Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. They mean the world to me. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can get the daily forecast a day early, plus other readings that are available over on the Patreon page. You just choose a subscription level. It's a great way to support me in what I'm doing. If you choose to do that, you would go to patreon.com and look up Engelgeist, and then choose a subscription level. If you're new to me, please hit the subscribe button if you'd like, or give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. I greatly appreciate it. You can leave any questions or comments here on the YouTube channel, or you can direct them through Messenger via the Facebook business page directly to me. This is a broad spec. Excuse me, I'm having like an allergic attack this morning. I don't know what's going on, but I just started sneezing right before going live. So, this is a broad spectrum reading for the greater collective. Therefore, it is a timeless message in the sense that when you see it is when you're supposed to see it, kind of thing. It isn't originally intended for Friday, the 6th of November, but it is also to be utilized whenever it comes across your path. So, if this video has found its way to you and it's not the 6th of November, don't worry. Still watch the video and see if there's anything that you can use from it. If anything doesn't make sense, or the entire thing doesn't make sense, it doesn't seem to resonate with you, that's fine. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means you might be working on something different. But if it does make sense, or you do glean something out of it that works for you, please take it and utilize it to the best of your ability, knowing that any decisions that you make in your personal life after having watched this video are your responsibility. Okay? Alright, so let's get into this and see where we're at with this week. This week has been kind of intense with the cards. I love this new deck. It really doesn't mess around as far as giving messages. The deck we're working with is the GRIMALKIN Tarot by CULLINANE, who is an artist out of Seattle. She's an artist and tarot deck creator. She's amazing. You should follow her. I do. I'm a bit of a fangirl. Let's see what's going on here. Or I should say fanboy, I guess. Does it really matter? Girl, boy. Does it really matter nowadays? Alright. What do we need to know? Okay. Alright. So this is our first non-major arcana card of the week, and we're hitting Friday, which is the end of the week. But it is a court card, and it's a high court card as far as it's the Queen of Swords. So I can't think of the name of this cat. It is a hairless cat, though. I will say that. What I like about this card, and this kind of reminds me of this white bird here, sort of also harkens back to that white bird that we saw twice in the Justice card earlier this week. I feel like the Queen of Swords is always about sort of, first off, it's the element of air, which is the intellect, which is always about clear, precise thinking, logical thinking, clear, good, solid advice, maybe a little bit overly analytical, or, tends to want to analyze things from all different avenues or options. What I do like about this card is I feel like this is telling us to be a little bit more on the logical side today. We saw that a lot in the Justice card with that element of Libra and him, that cat sitting with his eyes closed over the books, right? Which is like sort of that idea of knowledge. I feel like these cats are trying to remind us to remain calm and stay, no matter what's going on in our lives or whatever we're paying attention to remain calm and stay logical, right? Stay centered. The queens always, they happen to be sort of associated with this suit of cups also. So we have this sort of water, air element going on in this card. Now, when I think about that, it just reminds me, like, emotionally, when we want to stay clean and clear, right, the clean and clear aspect would be, to me, the Queen of Swords, right? That sort of analytical, smart, even shrewd in a way, like outthinking our opponents, or just remaining cool, calm, and collected emotionally so that we can think clearly. She's a master of that, right? Now, all of these flowers to me make me think of there's still like beauty and growth, like to be had, right? If we don't see that beauty and growth or that opportunity to find the finer things, we should probably seek it out and look for it. She's certainly looking at different things to her that are, even these little birds, they're beautiful, right? They're symbols from nature, from spirit that come around her and sort of maybe acknowledge or honor her intellectual self, right? By giving her cues from, say, the other side that all is well or in line, right? But I love that she's also fixated on this white bird, which, to go back to what I was saying earlier, is this white bird reminds me of the white bird that we saw on this side of the card in the Justice card, right? To me, it feels like keeping an eye on that sort of, how do I want to say this? Like, to me, this white bird represents, I know that it was different in the definition of the book. I can't remember what it was when I read it from the Justice card, but to me, what this white bird represents is sort of that purity of spirit. Also, in this card, it represents a little bit of freedom, right? In the sense that I feel that, like, um, if we stay fixated on sort of what's pure about us or our desires or what we want and sort of continue to believe in them and use logical thought to get towards them, we can also sort of set this bird free, right? There's this interesting thing where I feel like this bird is now moving into the past a little bit. So some of us might be becoming a little bit more settled or in line with certain ideas or things that we need to do to sort of experience this freedom or release whatever this, for lack of a better term, I guess this bird of desire is to me. And we need to sort of let it be free, right? And let it sort of do what it needs to do so that it can evolve and grow. And while it's, taking its flight or becoming maybe more real or sort of taking action in the background, there's some of that going on too. Um, we stay fixated on it, right? We keep our attention on it, right? And the purity of it, the desire of it, the freedom of it, right? These are things that we seek in our lives, right? But we don't like smother it. We're logical about it. We keep a clear head. And we allow our clear mind to kind of make the decisions for us during this time, not our emotions. Does that make sense? And so, I mean, we also need to look at what was underneath this card, which now we're at Friday, so we should be at the end of the week card for some of you, or at least, the majority of you, which would be that judgment card. And that judgment card is about the balancing of those two, maybe some sort of truth and awareness coming out, something coming to light that will hopefully bring about a transformation or that Scorpio energy that will be for our benefit, right? We may have to look at some of the darker sides of ourselves, the darker thoughts we may have, some of those sort of things, and become more in tune with them or settled with them, understanding of them. But I kind of feel like this white bird is sort of like that white cat that we saw yesterday in the Temperance card, which is this idea of understanding, who we are at all levels, right? Both good and bad, right? Or what we would deem as good and bad, light and dark. It doesn't necessarily mean that light is better than dark per se. Both have their information, both have their experience, both serve their purpose, right? But to me, this is us like logically owning those aspects of self and not allowing either one to sort of take too much control at this time. Let's see what the empathic oracle has to say. I hope this fits for you guys. I hope this is making sense. It's just sort of what I'm seeing and sort of what I feel like the Queen is trying to say to us. Okay. 14, which is number 5, which is about change, right? Like oncoming change. And I think that this card is focus. When I look at this, it's funny. It makes me think of, well, first off, I see a volcano, right? Sort of. I mean, yeah. And then I see this weird bird. Like this bird design right here. Do you see the bird? Like it looks like a bird flying up, right? And it makes me think of this bird here, but it also feels like a volcano in the sense that it's going to burst forth. We have all this water, which is the underlying cups energy of this queen, but the maintaining of focus through whatever change or whatever changes we want to make, we need to maintain and keep. And that's also the intelligence of the Queen of Swords, right? That's the air intellect of her. That impartiality where she doesn't get wrapped up in things emotionally. She can think with her brain and be very clear and concise, and not necessarily in a negative way, right? It's not that she's heartless. It's just that she is very logical. She's very practical. She's thinking about maybe best case scenario for everybody involved, and then acting on it from there from a logical state versus an emotional state. Does that make sense? And I think that that ties into this focus card in the sense that it feels like this bird thing is flying up out of the emotions into the air, getting more intellectual, gaining our focus, and gaining a better understanding as we move through whatever change we might be experiencing or that we are inducing, right? There could be a change being induced by the story that I give you about this white bird, of us setting free sort of our desire or looking at our desire and the purity of that and what it is we want, right, in the world, and then keeping our eyes fixated on that, but being logical as we move towards it. You know, that could be change that we've sort of induced on our own, within our own life, right? And so with that comes this idea or this need for this focus, where we want to be focused, we want to be aware of where we put our attention. What is it on? Is it serving us? Is it not serving us? You know, is it making us feel better? Is it raising our vibration or lowering our vibration, right? Where are we putting our attention and our focus right now? I think that's really key. Let's look to the grounding stone. Okay, I like this grounding stone. This is on carnelian, I believe, which would be associated with the second chakra. I think it's an orange stone, so it takes me to the second chakra. The word is prosperity. The second chakra to me is about like your emotions, your dream state, that sort of thing, and where those two kind of tie together. I think that when we have this logical aspect of the Queen of Swords, coupled with this focus card, I like that we can ground in the feelings or the maybe the dreams that we have around the prosperity of ourselves and others, right? And how do we get there logically? How do we focus on that and not necessarily allow ourselves to get too emotional, right? I feel like there's a nice balance between these two cards and this stone, right? The focus to me should be about how we sort of help this, I want to call it a dream bird, but to me this sort of feels like either it's the white of spirit or the purity of our own spirit and what it is that we desire. And this also has some sort of draw to the past. I feel like she's looking to the past to sort of remember her desires or to harken back to the purity of who she is as spirit, what we strongly desire in the world, and then utilizing that desire to remember, you know, who we are and logically to think things through before acting or, you know, acting out of emotion. Or we're not going to do that today with this Queen of Swords, right? There's also that judgment card that's underneath all of this where something, you know, truths are coming forth, right? These might be truths about our own selves and our own desires, right? And our own feelings around how do we obtain our prosperity, or, you know, when we have prosperity, do we feel comfortable with it, right? Maybe we need to like look logically at some of our emotions around prosperity and put some focus on that to affect some change. That could be part of the reading for some of you for this. Let me read these stories to you. Sorry that I'm like all stuffy and weird. All right. Queen of Swords, where are you, babe? Okay, here. Okay, the cat's name is Lana, and in symbolism is magnolia flowers are warmth and feminine beauty. She's a hairless cat, so she's honest and showing her true self. She's authentic. The bird is tradition and social order. The daffodil is fresh starts or a new beginning. And the dove is truthful, pure heart and integrity. So that's that pure spirit that I was getting. When I think of the Queen of Swords, the phrase that comes to mind is "don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining." This is one lady who has experienced life from the high points on down to the low. Because she is well-rounded, she isn't going to let anyone pull one over on her without getting an earful. When you encounter the Queen of Swords in a reading, you are asked to approach your situation from her perspective. If you have a difficult decision in front of you, you may want to consider if you're honest with yourself or others. When faced with an obstacle or challenge, are you able to quickly and accurately assess what needs to be done? Although she may come off a bit cold and distant at times, if you are feeling too emotionally invested, you may need to retreat inward until you can be objective. The Queen's sharp intellect brings the gift of wit and humility. Even when things appear grave and sober, she has a knack for finding the humorous side of any situation. If you are agitated by another person's position, are you taking the whole situation too seriously, including yourself? The energy attributes are positive, playing by the rules, honest, direct, and unpretentious. The negative are secretive and distant, speaks too bluntly, and being insensitive. All right, so let's see about focus here. Focus. Excuse me. My goals are before me. Emotion, thought, and action all in a single focus of their attainment. See, that's that prosperity stone too. It's grounding in the depth of our emotions, but letting our illogical mind lead will bring us this sort of change in our focus too. Focus is a wonderful tool, and it can serve many purposes in the knowing that energy follows intention. Used in manifestation, all our energetic power can be fine-tuned into a single thought to bring into fruition a desired goal. When used in visualization, energetic barriers can be created to keep one safe. In performing a task, all outside influences can be kept at bay as we focus on that which needs our attention. Sacred objects and mantras have also been known to be coupled with this skill known as focus. As these items are focused upon and we place our intention of following their intended purpose, outside influences are soon forgotten, losing their grip on our experience. Are my thoughts scattered, making it difficult to choose? Have outside influences hijacked my ability to be present? If I focus more on what the crux of the situation needs, would my perception of where this is going change? Oh, or would the end still be relevant? So those are all things to ponder and think about. I think today is about getting our logical mind in line with our emotions, letting our logical mind lead, and staying focused on prosperity and seeing where that takes us today. That is your forecast for the day. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit the subscribe button if you've enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, like, whatever you feel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.